Welcome to the MMA Nerd podcast. I am your host, MMA Nerd. What's up, guys? Um, so today's goal of mine is to pretty much make a podcast and do the minimal amount of editing, maybe no editing. The reason why I'm doing this is because if you look at my other videos, I tend to edit a lot, and a lot of that has to do with my insecurities of speaking and my voice, and just the way I tend to just pronounce things or mumble or whatever. And even talking now, I'm thinking, hey, I want to edit the fuck out of this because this sucks so far. But I'm going to try not to. And it's going to be very hard because I tend to I am hard on myself. So, yeah, so I'm just going to just rant today and I just want to talk. And it's been almost a month, I believe, since I've put anything up. The last time I put something up was right after the Tony Ferguson and Gaethje fight. And there's been cards since then, and I haven't made a podcast. I haven't put anything up. And the main reason why is because this to me takes a couple days just to edit and record and have the confidence to do this. But I need to realize that it's not about how I feel. It's not about how I want to look or sound to other people. This is more about myself. This is more about how I need to do this. But whatever. I don't know where I was going with that. And you see, I would have edited that out. But I'm not going to edit it out. I'm going to keep it in there. I ranted, and guess what? I kept it in there, and we're going to keep it there, and we keep moving forward. So, yeah, I wanted to do a lot with this YouTube channel. I really, like I said, always wanted to do a podcast before, and that sounds cool, but I really want to do fight breakdowns. And, for example, I have one lined up for Machida, and I have one lined up for Wonder Boy. And I wanted to also do one on the differences between Shinzo Machida and Wonder Boy. Shinzo Machida and Lyoto Machida, his brother. And I want to talk about certain things because I think Shinzo has like better form and has a better, well-rounded game than Lyoto. So that's where I was gonna go with that. And man, I've been procrastinating on it. Not because I want to, but because personally I don't even have the video editing skills. I don't really have the audio editing skills. I don't have any of these skills and I need to develop that. So I've been trying to work and look at videos and seeing how can I get this done, but I'm kind of lost in progressing with this. And um yeah, so I would like to do a fight breakdown, and I wanted to make my YouTube channel way more about fighters and the technique breakdowns than myself. I did not want this to be about me. I wanted it to be about technique and how I think people should be watching fights and how people should be analyzing fights and how they should be breaking it down, and then how do they implement that into their training, and then how do they implement their training into how they view a fight. And I think these are important topics, and it's something I would like to talk about, something I would like to improve on. And this is the biggest thing on why I'm doing this, is so I can improve on myself. So if I'm contradicting myself on a lot of the shit I'm saying, well, it is what it is, and I'm still going to post this shit because I need to get over this. I have a terrible problem speaking in public, which is hilarious because I teach martial arts for a living. I literally speak in front of a bunch of people, and don't get me wrong, it's very hard for me, and it's very hard for me to have gotten into that situation and position where I can do that. But if it's not martial arts, if I'm not speaking about martial arts, especially technique and stuff, man, I have a rough time. I have a serious rough time speaking in public. So for me, this is a a way of saying, fuck you. This is a way of me saying, you know what? I'm fucking afraid of speaking in public. I'm fucking afraid to give out my opinions at times. But you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fucking do it. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just gonna post this with no editing. Maybe here and there, very, very little. Just so I don't bore you to death. But I'm gonna post this. Because I don't need to sound perfect. I just need to get my point across. I need to just get busy, get going. And I tend to overthink things before I do it. And I need to stop. I just need to go. I need to stop editing myself. Not just in video and audio. In life. I tend to hold back. And fuck that, man. Fuck that. So sorry I'm getting passionate. But I'm just trying to be real. And yeah, you know, there might not be many people watching this. Maybe there's one motherfucker out there listening to me. Maybe there's one motherfucker out there just being like, you know what? I'm gonna give this a chance to listen to. Cool. Thank you. And I sincerely mean that. I'm not even fucking kidding right now. Hey, the one person that's listening right now, I fucking love you, bro. You're the shit. And thank you. I appreciate it. To the fucking universe and back. That even makes sense, but fuck it, I'm gonna keep it in there. I fucking say shit, doesn't even make sense. I'm gonna keep it in here. Because this is the way I want to speak more often and not feel fucking holding myself back in a box. So yeah, there's good fights this weekend. There's really good fights this weekend. And yeah. By the way, last weekend, cool fights. Gilbert Burns looked really good against Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley was obviously the entire fight looking for the right hand, putting his back against the cage. And Gilbert Burns was able to just counter the right hand of Tyron Woodley and even take him down, timing that right hand. Great job by Gilbert Burns. Really cool. Yeah, that Billy Quarantillo versus Spike Carl, dude, I don't even know how to say this guy's name. That fight was really good. I know Spike is like an up and coming dude that has a little bit of hype behind him. I'm not gonna lie. I've never seen him fight before. Never seen Spike fight before. He lost the fight because he fucking threw everything out there. Like, dude just, like, the first minute, hey, speak better, right? So yeah, he threw everything out there, and he gassed out pretty bad. But man, he had good jujitsu. I saw some people talking about how he was just using pure athleticism and strength. I don't think so. I think, first of all, athleticism, what does that even mean, right? To be an athletic person, you learn when to use your explosivity in ways, right? To be an athletic person, to be somebody that uses their athleticism well, right? And people downplay that. People think that just because you're athletic or you know how to use your athleticism, that you no longer have technique. No, your technique needs some form of timing, right? Being able to time something, being able to react fast and use the proper technique and to think fast enough to use the right technique and to develop fast muscle memory. That's all good. You should be training that. You should be definitely working on your accuracy, working on your timing, working on quick reaction time and developing more muscle memory. There's nothing wrong with that. People downplay that, don't know why. They tend to think that life and being a martial artist is being Elio Gracie, what they said Elio Gracie was, which he wasn't. He was actually a swimmer back in the day, pretty athletic dude, but whatever. Everyone thinks that a martial artist should be like an Elio Gracie, quote unquote, where they're just frail and sickly and they only use technique. Yeah, but technique requires timing. It requires to have muscle memory. It requires to have good fight IQ in many ways. So it's not just technique is a broad term. Being technical is a broad term. Being a technical fighter is a broad term. If you have one skill that you're good at, but you're really good at it, you're a good fighter, right? So if you look at Tyron Woodley, he has a good right hand, but he's messed people up with that right hand. Is he a good fighter or not? Some people say no because he doesn't have a lot of tools. So does tools, the amount of tools, does that determine the quality fighter that you are? Or is it being able to just execute technique? You see, these are not this is not an easy discussion to have, and very it's very opinionated and subjective in many ways. And it's also something you have to really study and be around these guys and to be around athletes to understand this. So back to Spike. Dude was timing shit really well. He had great jiu-jitsu, great wrestling. On the feet, he looked like he had some power going, right? He looked like he had some pep in his step. That even makes sense, but you get what I mean. He had some strong strikes. Not the most best defensively, but it's hard to tell because he gassed out. And as for Billy, man, he had a good guard. He was trying to use rubber guard. He wasn't really grabbing it well. On when you get rubber guard, you want to grab wrist to ankle control. You don't want to grab your ankle. You want your wrist to like fold over while you have a fist. It's hard to explain through audio, but you can see like your wrist has to fold over. Maybe I can even. I was gonna say I was gonna put a picture of somebody doing rubber guard at this time, but first of all, who's gonna listen and watch? Which the whole time it just showed my logo, and then also, I'm not gonna do it because it's gonna take me too long, and I just want to post this. Like I was saying, I just want to post shit. So, yeah. So he was doing the rubber guard, not the best. He wasn't getting the forearm in front of the tricep area, perfectly. And when he did, he was trying to zombie that arm, like you're trying to. So there's one arm that's grabbing the ankle, and then there's the free arm, and that arm has to go inside their elbow crease, and then you extend your arm all the way up, and then you hug their. If you heard my mic do a noise, I'm sorry. So you overhook that arm, and you should be in mission control from there. Um, Rubber guard's hard, man, and a lot of people try to pull it off, but it's difficult. It requires a lot of flexibility and a lot of hours and a lot of back pain. I used to do a lot of rubber guard back in the day, and I stopped doing it because it hurt my back and it hurt my knees. But once in a while, I'll throw up some rubber guard, and it's good. It stops them obviously from posturing up, especially if someone's punching you. It's great to use. It's really good. And if I was coaching somebody that was young, I would tell them to really try to put time into that. Especially if you're young, put some time into it because you're flexible. And if you know you're going to fight when you get older, definitely work on some rubber guard. So he also, yeah, he had a good guard, and it was a back and forth jiu-jitsu match. It was cool. Now this weekend's card, seems really good. We have Aljamain Sterling. Let me pull up this whole thing. Okay, we have Eddie Wineland versus Sean O'Malley. Is that the first? That's the first fight of the main card. Yeah, I'm just gonna go through the main card. The prelims don't look the best, and I'm not gonna go over that. So Eddie Wineland versus Sean O'Malley looks like a good fight. It's cool to have Sean O'Malley back in the cage. His last fight, he head kicked dude, and he looked good. He looked good, and now he's fighting Eddie Wineland. Eddie Wineland, he has a salty record of 24-13. But he's a vet, and he has a really tricky style. He likes to switch stances a lot. He likes to dart in and out. He kind of reminds me of like Cub Swanson, right? He has like that neo style footwork type of thing going on, and yeah. So that's going to be a tricky fight. It's going to be cool to see, can Sean O'Malley adapt to a style like that? Can he deal with a vet? It would be cool to see Eddie Wineland actually trying to push him back and then wrestle him a bit, and then also be tricky, just be as tricky as possible, and switch stances a lot, and see how does Sean O'Malley deal with the trickiness of a vet, and I want to see his takedown defense a little bit. Then we have Neil Magny versus Anthony Martin. Never seen Anthony Martin fight. 17-1. 17-5, sorry. I don't know if this is his first time fighting in the UFC. I'm gonna open this up to see. Dude, let me see this guy's record. You see, normally I would definitely edit this out. I definitely wouldn't keep this here before. But I'm going to keep it in here because, like I said, you guys, whoever's listening to me, I love you, bro. You're going to follow me. Through this whole ride. You see, I can't even speak while I'm doing this. He lost to Damian Maia in 2019, this guy. And he beat Jake Matthews. That's cool. Jake Matthews, man. I thought he was going to be more... He was like the up-and-coming young guy. And I thought that he was going to do a lot more, and he never really filled into those shoes. Man, he's been fighting in the UFC since 2014. How I have not heard of this guy. I am Anthony Martin. Man, what's wrong with me? Huh. He's only 30, and he lost against Damian Maia in a decision, which, hey, that's not bad, right? Damian Maia is a motherfucker. Sergio Moraes, he beat, which is very impressive. Very impressive. He beat Jake Matthews, Ryan LaFleur. Okay. He beat Alban Mercier. I always forget how to say that guy's name. That guy's pretty good. He comes from TriStar, right? He's a TriStar fighter. I think he very technical. All those guys over there have really good jobs. Very technical, very patient, have good wrestling. He lost against him, actually. And yeah, so interesting. Oh, he lost against Beneil Dariush. I like Beneil. Beneil's cool. Technical, good jiu-jitsu. You see, that's like Beneil Dariush is a really good example of a guy that's not athletic at all. Of course, he has a level of athleticism, but let's say you have him do like a sprint or have him jump, right? However you want to phrase these athletic terms that all these football players and guys like to say. The vertical jump. There you go. If you had him do like a vertical jump or a sprint, he wouldn't probably do well against most fighters. He's probably not that athletic compared to most fighters, but he's very good at executing technique. But at times you can see how he gets overwhelmed with someone that has a lot of speed and is stronger than him and stuff. But he's a crafty guy and he's very technical, has good jiu-jitsu. He's a brown belt world champion, in case you didn't know. Okay. So now, I'm sorry if you guys hear my mouth doing all these weird noises. I normally go back and edit all those weird noises that come out of my mouth, but not gonna edit shit because I don't want to edit anything. I just want to get through this and put it out there. So now we have Neil Magny versus this guy. So man, that's gonna be a good fight. Neil Magny has a hell of a gas tank. He's a hell of a veteran, right? At this point, he's looked good, man, at times, and he's just one of those guys that just hustles, man. And I remember at one point he was like fighting 5 times a year, and just just running through people, not running through them in a way that he's just knocking people out and out grappling them and all this. He was just outpointing, and just hustling, man. Dude hustles, and good on him, man. That's gonna be a good fight, and I like to see how this is gonna play out because Neil Magny, man, he hustles. If this other guy, which I've never seen him fight, can out hustle Neil Magny, shit. All right. Then Aljamain Sterling versus Corey Sandhagen, and man, I like both of these guys. Corey Sandhagen has a very much like a little Dominic Cruz-ish type of movement going on where he switches stances. He leans a lot in like a false stance like Dominic Cruz does, and he has a good amount of volume. Aljamain Sterling, sorry, I'm pulling up his stats and record and stuff here. He's one of those guys that also had a very promising looking career, and he was coming from that Sarah Longo gym that Chris Weidman came from. And I remember when he was coming up, I think Chris was a champion or just lost his belt. I have to check on that, but I remember he was like the new up and comer guy, especially in that weight class where it was deep, but it wasn't like extremely deep at the time. And he just never really reached that potential. And he's looking good the last couple fights. He's the last couple of fights he's looked good. He beat Pedro Munoz, Jimmy Rivera, which was very, very impressive. And it would be cool to see him really come into his own. And he's been looking sharp recently, man. He's on a big win streak here. Yeah, he's on a big win streak, and man, he beat Henan Burrell, Augusto Mendez. Wow, yeah, he is gonna be cool to see how he fights Corey Sandhagen. That's gonna be a very interesting fight. I wonder if Aljamain Sterling is gonna use his wrestling more like he has been doing and pressuring Corey and not letting Corey use that space with his long arms, and he has a good crisp jab, and if he can just get in on those long arms like I talked about with Tony Ferguson and Cowboy, when someone has long arms at a distance, they can be very threatening because their arms are so long. But the thing is, if you're shorter than them and you have a shorter reach than them, when you get in, you have a very big advantage because their arms are so long. To hit you, they need more space, and their arms makes it difficult for them to fight on the inside, and also to defend well because their arms take longer to come back into defensive mode. So if they throw a punch, it takes a longer time for them to bring it back into their guard. So yeah, it would be an interesting fight. Rafael Sunsao versus Cody Garbrandt. Rafael Sunsao is really good. He's one of those guys where he beats people, but not really. Like when he beat TJ, for example, back in the day, he never really finishes anybody. Not the most exciting fighter to watch, but he's good. Like he does just enough to win. Man, he's 37. Wow. Short dude. He's 5'4". Interesting. Yeah, and then you have Cody Garbrandt, and God, Cody Garbrandt. He was one of those guys that he had every opportunity and had the skills and the camp. He seemed to have the fight IQ at the time to really dominate and do well. The way he beat Dominic Cruz was just It was amazing. Dominic Cruz, I feel like he was too much on his lead leg. I think he was way too just coming forward on him. But at the same time, Cody Garbrandt did do a great job of always keeping Dominic Cruz right in front of him the entire time, never letting Dominic Cruz get an angle. And if Dominic Cruz came in, Cody Garbrandt would just come back to force Dominic Cruz to step again, and that's how he would counter him. He also did a good job just intercepting shots over Dominic Cruz's shots because Dominic Cruz just wings shots, so he was able to intercept them. And he just looked great. His head movement, his fight IQ, it was great. This fight seems very interesting, and hopefully Cody Garbrandt can come back and show more of that fighter that he was against Dominic Cruz. That was probably one of the best performances almost ever for a title fight. It was unexpected as well because Dominic Cruz was such a veteran and he was talking so much shit to him and really flustering him in the pre-fight interviews and their arguments. It was Dominic Cruz seemed like he was going to outclass this dude, and the only thing we saw from Cody Garbrandt was just windmilling punches and just knocking people out. We didn't see much of a very technical fighter, a very patient fighter, a very intellectual fighter, right? I don't know if that made sense, but I said it. And Cody Garbrandt, I feel like he's obviously just lost that fight IQ. He just became this guy that is just willing to trade with you and just willing to trade hooks with you. And that didn't go that well for him, right? He's lost his last couple of fights, and yeah, I would like to see him come back. I know he's trained camps. He changed camps. He changed camps. He went from Team Alpha Male, which, fuck man, that's not the worst name to give a gym. Shit. He went from Team Alpha Male to I wish this was a lot easier to find because I'm wasting time here. He changed camps. I know that. Cody Garbrandt. I'm gonna Google this shit. Coffee break, guys. Water break. Do whatever you guys want while I Google this. Cody Garbrandt change camp. Right? I don't know how to Google, man. I'm stupid. Silence. Silence is golden. Meditate. When you guys hear silence in my podcast, meditate. Om a little bit. Right? Be a yogi for a couple minutes. Jesus Christ, why can I not find this? I am... Man, under pressure, I really can't... I can't Google for shit. I can't speak and Google at the same time. If you guys watch Your Mom's House, I'm a little TikToked. And I just showed my hands there. I just showed you guys what sense of humor I have. It's not the best sense of humor. Okay. I can't find which camp he changed to. But yeah, he changed camps. And it'll be interesting to see if he can revitalize his career again. Now, Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer. Felicia Spencer had that fight against Chris Cyborg, where she was just willing to duke it with her. And this is going to be a cool fight to see. She's tough, right? She has a little bit of heavy hands. And she has some good grappling, some good jiu-jitsu, some jiu-jitsu. A lot of rear naked choke finishes in the UFC. Actually, no. There's Invicta and UFC. Yeah, so it would be cool to see how she deals with Amanda Nunes' long reach and power, because Amanda Nunes has a weirdly long reach and she can scrap. She has some good power behind her shots. She has a lot of patience when it comes to finding her opening. At times, obviously, right? Because there's times where she just kind of wings things. And yeah, so interesting. Not the best main event, but the rest of the card, the main card at least, seems good. So, that is what I'm going to speak about. And we've been going for 30 minutes. And I think that might be where I stop here. As much as I would like to keep talking and ranting and shit on just some random stuff, I might just for a couple minutes, but yeah, so I want to make this channel a lot more than it is so far, and I've been disappointed in the quality of the podcasts because I've been editing it and it sounds weird. I know it sounds weird, but I'm so insecure about my voice that I don't even care that it sounds weird. I'd rather sound like a robot than have you guys hear how I really speak. And that's not good mentally, right? That's not good for your mental health. At the same time, I don't want to sound like an idiot, right? Which I'm probably sounding in this podcast, but I also don't want to censor myself so much and really try to make things so perfect and try to make things so edited that I don't even want to do it anymore. Or it takes so much out of my time, out of my day, where I don't have the time to do it. But if I do more podcasts like this where I'm just ranting and I'm just speaking and I just say shit, I feel like I'll do more of these. Now, the thing is, I do a lot more prep than than what I'm doing now, right? Even though it's edited, it's also because there's prep. I watch a lot of fights beforehand, and I write down notes, and then I write down how I wanna go over the notes. But for this, I did zero. I haven't watched a single fight before I did this podcast. I just said, you know what? I'm tired of not posting anything. I'm tired of just making fucking excuses. And I'm just gonna just post some shit. I'm just gonna rant and talk some shit. It's not like there's a million people listening to me, right? It's not like a shit ton of people are coming onto my podcast and listening and observing the quality of the talks that I'm giving and the technique analysis that I'm doing. No one's listening. So might as well just, instead of seeing this as how perfect can I make a product and how perfect can I put my point across, just how about you just post something? How about you just put some random thoughts out there, some random shit out there, and see what happens? And I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is I'm not going to get a shit ton of views. And I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is no one's really going to give a fuck. But I give a fuck because I'm posting this. And that's what matters for me right now is just putting shit out there. And for the one person, if that listens to this and kind of enjoys it or whatever, or just got through this. Even if you fucking hated me, you're listening to this because you fucking hate me. Thank you. I am so appreciative of you. And that's it, guys. Or that one person that's actually fucking listening 34 minutes in, 35 minutes in. Thank you. So yeah, um like, subscribe please. That would be nice if you guys can like and subscribe. Or if you're that one person, hey, if you're that one person this entire fucking time, leave a comment and just say something, right? Even if you didn't like it, say something negative. If you did like it, say something positive. If you have a question, ask me a fucking question. I'm down for a discussion. That's why I wanted this to begin with, just to have a discussion with people, just so I can just talk to people about martial arts, because this is what I love. This is what I do. This is my life. So if I can just have a little conversation with anybody that loves martial arts like I do, fuck man, that's a win, even if it's that one person. That's a big accomplishment and a big thing for me. So, yeah, guys, this is my super fucking unedited podcast. And like, subscribe again. I'm gonna say that again. And if you're that one person, I love you, bro. Or if you're a woman, I love you. But you know, yeah. So, uh, that's it. Like, subscribe. Have a great rest of the week. Have a good fight card. And maybe I might do another one of these because fuck it, I'm just gonna rant and post some shit. This is the MMA Nerd, the probably worst name I gave myself. I'm out, bitches.